After so many years, Hazbin Hotel is finally here! And as you can tell, I'm feeling quite enthusiastic to say the least. I've been a fan of the show since before the pilot even came out. I think I found out what it was about a year before it released on YouTube. So yeah, I think I've been around the Hazbin Hotel block. Even if you aren't a fan of the show, this is still a big win for indie animation and original ideas in entertainment as a whole. Hazbin Hotel's massive success speaks volumes and lets studios know that people are totally up for independent works and original ones at that. Now the question is, was season 1 of Hazbin Hotel worth the wait? Well, of course it was, but that doesn't mean it's perfect by any means. So before we continue, spoilers are ahead for basically the entire first season. You got that? We good to go? Fantastic.
She's flawed, but hey, who down here isn't?
The story of Hazbin Hotel took much more of an important role than I was expecting, and believe me when I say it put the pedal to the metal. It went by fast. There was a lot of ground to cover regarding the rehabilitation. Man, that's a tough word to say. Rehabilitation of sinners, the yearly extermination, the characters' relationships and growth, the lore of the Helliverse, stuff we don't even know we don't know. And there was only 8 episodes to do it all in. The pacing was fast. We all know that. But it's even faster when you realize how much more there is in the Helliverse to learn about. Of course, we have at least one other season on the way, and likely more considering the massive success of the show so far. So let's hope that future seasons either have more episodes or longer episodes, because there definitely needed to be more runtime in season 1 to explore everything it wanted to. That being said, it was still a very intriguing story. Lots of fun and interesting things to go do in the show, and the plots were great at having viewers on the edge of their seats. There was no holding back with the explanation or exploration of a series taking place in hell. And the characters. My goodness, the characters. Let's talk about them, shall we? Most of them, anyway.
Oh, this will be fun.
Let's start with the Princess of Hell herself, Charlie Morningstar. A very lovable protagonist, Charlie's peppy personality and good heart really are like a glimmer of hope in the most miserable place ever. Literal hell. It's so admirable seeing her believe in the free will of others, trusting the sinners to make good decisions for themselves. And she never uses her status to accomplish her goals, even though with her powers, she could easily control hell with an iron fist. Don't you just love pure of heart characters? Then we have Vaggie, Charlie's girlfriend, and as we now know for sure, a fallen angel, an exorcist to be specific, the much needed serious and no-nonsense compliment to Charlie, who also believes in the plan for sinners to rehabilitate and get to heaven. I feel like it's not a controversial take to say Vaggie's arc of self-worth came out of nowhere and ended out of nowhere even faster. But her becoming stronger through her love for Charlie was nice and very sweet. Alistair was and still is an enigma wrapped up in a mystery. And wow, he is one scary piece of work. And I love him. A lot more than ever before. His rivalry with Lucifer was very entertaining, and the fact he was able to stand toe-to-toe with Adam without the use of an angelic weapon speaks volumes about how powerful he really is. There's so much to learn about him, and I'm excited. And I appreciate his anger towards Husk, reminding us that Alistair is still an evil overlord despite his assistance at the hotel. And I do find it cute that he's very fond of Nifty. His little gremlin, you could say. Angel Dust was one of those characters I normally wouldn't like, with the whole constant sex jokes and slutty personality. But luckily, he wasn't one note and had actual character depth. And yikes, you just want to give the guy a hug, just seriously. His situation with being owned by Valentino, it was handled in a way that showed just how brutal his life is. And I applaud the show for handling that subject well. And yes, I too felt proud of Angel when he stood up to Val in the club. That guy's such a freaking creep. Husk, the wise old bartender who's seen it all. He definitely had my favorite voice in the season. It sounds amazing and so perfectly fitting. And Husk being the one to help Angel Dust with tough love was great. Connecting with each other by knowing they're both in a miserable spot. And it was strangely wholesome, and as the season went on, they grew such a strong bond, and it makes you feel so happy for them. And an extra little tidbit, Husk has my favorite, or my personal favorite character design in the entire show. I like its casino vibe. Nice colors too. Sir Pentious. What a literal redemption arc, from a goofy evil scientist, to a sinner seeking redemption, to a warrior fighting for his friends, to finally making it into heaven. Oh my goodness, I am so proud of Sir Pentious. I'm so happy. He deserves all the egg boys in the world. Pentious was always a joy on screen, and for him to be the first redeemed sinner just feels so right. And you know what? You know what it is? Like, this is not even about Sir Pentious specifically, it's just about Hazbin Hotel. Watching and enjoying Hazbin Hotel gives you that same feeling of loving something when you're like a teenager, you know what I mean? Either that or basically what it was like falling in love with franchises in the mid 2010s. Like, I hope you understand what I mean. Something like Undertale or Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm really hoping I'm articulating what I'm trying to say here. And, okay, anyway, alright. There was so many characters, and there's still so much to go through. I'm just going to summarize my thoughts on the rest of them as best as I can, or we're going to be here forever. So, let's do this. Nifty is such a wild little gremlin. I adore her energy. I'm so curious what her deal is, with her literal deal with Alistair and her redemption arc. I cannot wait to see more of her. Lucifer was completely different than any of us were expecting, I'm pretty sure. But what we actually got was just so much better. Such a silly, goofy little guy, a literal short king. Adam is terrible, like on purpose, and I like this personality. You can tell he's definitely God's first attempt at man. No doubt about it. Glad he got what was coming to him, but I'll still miss him. Lute really needs to lighten up, but I appreciate her pissed off attitude and her loyalty to Adam. I really like Cherry Bomb, and considering how she helped rebuild the hotel, I'm hopeful she joins the main cast in Season 2 to seek redemption. The V's were good. Vox's rivalry with Alistair is very entertaining, and I'm sure we all know there's much more to it than simple clashing of eras. The two definitely have more of a history than Vox coming up to Alistair and asking him to join his team. Velvet is appropriately feisty and very self-absorbed in an enjoyable way. Valentino is a menace, a rotten creature, very fun to hate, and very fun in general. I'm excited for the day he gets his comeuppance. Carmilla Carmine is very intriguing to me. There's definitely more to her that we have to learn, but her influence with her angelic weapons reaches even hell of a boss. So she's a big deal for sure. Zestial is a character that was surprisingly a hit for me. Being the longest reigning overlord in hell and possibly the longest living sinner opens a lot to be explored. And also, his voice is fantastic. I love hearing him speak. Rosie isn't Charlie's stepmom. She's the mom who stepped up. Such a weirdly sweet character despite being the leader of Cannibal Town, and her guidance for Charlie was so heartwarming. She could become one of my favorites if she appears more in the future. I absolutely love Rosie. And a side note, are the cannibals hellborn demons native to the Pride Ring? They all look too similar not to be, right? They have to be. Okay, I digress. Wow, that was a lot. Hazbin Hotel has a very numerous cast, and I like them all for their time in the spotlight. Very happy with them.
They're gonna fucking die. They're gonna die.
The animation was obviously amazing. Animating all these intricate designs must have been a challenge, but it really did pay off in the end. I feel like if I mention anything about the color, then there's definitely going to be someone like Adam who says, too much red. But screw you, I'm going to say it anyway. I love the colors too. Hell is mostly reds and pinks, of course, and heaven is very white and blue. And I like that contrast. And of course, when more colors from the spectrum are in the show, they pop. So yeah, I like them. The action scenes look great too. Very impactful and high energy. The musical numbers were always the best animated segments in the show. No question. And speaking of which...
I'll destroy you! I'm afraid you've lost your signal.
The songs in Hazbin Hotel were all stunning. There's not a single bad one in the entire show, and even the weakest of them is still pretty good. And if you're asking me what I think the weakest song was, probably Welcome to Heaven. It was also the shortest one, but let's continue. And of course, obviously, Loser Baby was the best song in the show. No doubt about that. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. Okay, I'm just kidding. But it was just so charming and wholesome and perfect for the story and the characters. Plus, Husk's voice for singing is just so perfect. We get it. It's a banger. A few of my other favorite songs included Hell's Greatest Dad, Stayed Gone, and Happy Day in Hell. And as great as the songs were, let's not overlook the original score, because that was also phenomenal. What a lovely musical.
What? Where am I? Oh. Hello.
Overall, I would say that Hazbin Hotel is great. It's been what we've been waiting for all these years, and Season 1 did not disappoint. Does it have problems? Yes, of course it does. Like, the pacing is way too fast for its own good, some character arcs go by too quickly to be meaningful really, and there definitely need to be more time to flesh out the story and see the characters grow. So yeah, it's flawed. Very noticeably flawed. That doesn't mean it's not a fantastic accomplishment and a darn good time though, which is why I'm going to be giving Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel an A-. It has problems, but again, who in hell doesn't? And with all that being said, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day!